Hi everybody, Dan Illman here with the DRF race of the day for Monday, September the 12th. It's race number 2 at Assiniboia Downs, the $40,000 Manitoba Matron for fillies and mares going 1 1/8 miles. I'll be back with the full preview after this brief message. Want to view free Formulator past performances for this race? Head to the Race of the Day page at DRF.com. Don't forget to subscribe to the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel and bet this card with DRF Bets. Here's the field for the Manitoba Matron. $40,000 is the purse. Race number 2 at Assiniboia Downs. It's a big evening at the Downs on Monday. Race 2 is our stakes race. Race 3 is the kickoff leg of the 20-cent ASD Jackpot Pick 5. Carryover going into Monday's card, $367,000 plus. Race number 4 is the kickoff leg of the very popular $1 Pick 4 wager, $50,000 guaranteed pool in the Pick 4. Let's talk a little bit more about the Manitoba Matron. Spunline is the horse to beat. She just beat several of these in her most recent start. Let's see where Timeform US has her after the first half mile on the Timeform US pace projector. It's a blue bar situation. Timeform US believes that this race will favor horses on or near the early lead. I do agree with Timeform US that the 2 Ain't She Darlin' will be forwardly placed. I think the 5 Melisandre, the 1 Spunline will be close. And really one of the keys to this race is where will the 3 Texas Rain be? Because she has the break to get close to the pace. It's just that they seem to ride her with the intent of trying to make one run. In a race like this, maybe it would behoove the connections to have Texas Rain a bit closer to the pace. The 1 Spunline, though, is the horse to beat. She beat 3 of these in her most recent start. A race we're going to take a look at right now. This race is at 1 1/16 miles, and she's really improved since being stretched out in distance. For most of her career, she was mostly a sprinter miler type, but they've stretched her out and she's blossomed at the Downs in her last couple of races. In this race, she traveled very sweetly on the outside. She drew off in the lane, and she's just able to hold off Big Stretch, who comes with a strong stretch run. Spunline is a very consistent horse with tactical speed. Breaking from the inside, I think she's going to be forwardly placed. Perhaps taken off the rail just like her most recent start. She's going to be right in the thick of things turning for home. And in the form she is right now, she is way the horse to beat. The 2 is Ain't She Darlin'. And Ain't She Darlin' was the pace setter in the race we just saw. She went fast in the early portion of that race. The opening quarter was run in a sprightly 22-3. They backed down the pace on the backstretch, but Ain't She Darlin' took heat throughout, and she understandably tired. Not sure if the extra distance is going to work to this one's favor. Like the number 1 Spunline, she was mostly a sprinter earlier in her career. She has stretched out in her last 3 races, but with not much success. Ain't She Darlin', I think, is going to try to get to the lead in here. I'm just not sure if she's good enough, however, to run with these horses in the stretch. Texas Rain, I believe, is good enough. The problem with Texas Rain is she just doesn't win very often. You have to go back to October of 2020 at Remington Park in the United States for her most recent win. She has 12 seconds from 28 lifetime starts. We saw her finish 3rd in the video that we showed with Spunline. She was the beaten favorite in that race. Now, she broke very well, and it looked like for a brief instant that she could have made the lead in that race. The jock decided to take her back, ended up in between horses on the backstretch. They slowed the pace down, and when they quickened up again, she was a bit outpaced on the second turn. She split horses in the stretch, dropped down inside, and came with her usual run to get her usual slice of the pie. Now, I think she needs to be a bit closer to the pace this time around. 1 1/8 miles, it's a bit of a question mark for many of these horses. I think Texas Rain will run her race, whether it's 7.5 or 1 1/8 miles. Does she get the right setup? I think a horse like Texas Rain needs the right setup, but she was favored last time out. She's been a short price in her last 3. She might be better odds in this race. The number 4 is Big Stretch. Now, we saw Big Stretch finish 2nd in the video early on with Spunline. She ran quite well in that race. She came to the outside in the stretch, and she never showed any quit. She's another one that has blossomed stretching out in distance. 3rd 2 starts back in the escape clause, 2nd last time out. She doesn't have a ton of early speed, so the question for her is whether she'll get the right setup and the right trip. But if she does, I would expect a good kick. Unfortunately, like Texas Rain, she has more 2nds and 3rds than career victories. The 5 is Melisandre, the Manitoba bred, and she won her first 8 starts. The problem here is that this year at the age of 4, it just doesn't appear like she's improved much. She hasn't won this year. She's been in against some pretty tough competition. Hidden Grace last time out was 1-5 in that 3-horse field, and she wired the group. But Melisandre just doesn't seem to have the same punch she did as a 2- and 3-year-old. I'm just concerned that she hasn't improved, and she's probably going to have to run one of her better races against this tough group of open fillies and mares. Before we get to my top selection, please click the subscribe button on the Daily Racing Form YouTube channel for all the latest DRF TV video franchises. Top pick time at the Downs for the Manitoba Matron, race number 2. I do respect Spunline here. I want to give Texas Rain one more chance. I'd like to see her a bit closer to the pace, and I'm hoping at 1 1/8, maybe she can grind them down in the stretch. Spunline is the horse to beat. Maybe Texas Rain finally gets it done. Lots of seconds in her career. That's the Monday race of the day, race number 2, the Manitoba Matron, approximate post time 8:05 Central. Good luck.